Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and today, we're going to be seeing if Ben 10 with the Ultimatrix can stop Godzilla Ultima. So a few things before we begin. I'd like to thank all of you for participating in the vote for obviously the next superhero video, seeing you guys would come out on top here. Obviously, Ultimate Ben 10 versus Godzilla Ultima. Again, this was based on your opinions. My opinion might be very different, or it may be the same. You never know. And I also like to give a shout out to Churros King because, again, he understands pretty well what's about to happen. Oh, man. And I do apologize for uploading that Ark video earlier. We were really supposed to talk about the blue whale that was coming to Ark's sunken world here. And that video was way longer than it should have been, and I'm not sure how it got mixed up with all the other videos I wanted to talk about here, like Tandytrophus, Ultispinax, and the Pelgeoglactorus and stuff like that. But again, I do apologize. So obviously the rules are simple. We are going to be putting Ben with the Ultimatrix, all of his ultimates, and all of those aliens he collected up until the season finale, obviously, right? So all of his ultimates, whether it's Wild Mutt, Way Big, and all that good stuff here. And we will also be, giving him obviously Clockwork and full control over Alien X. All right, I don't think it would be fair if he has to make a decision while his entire city is being destroyed. So without further ado, let's begin, and I hope you guys enjoy today's gameplay, which is Monster Hunter and Evolve. So starting off with Godzilla Ultima and his scaling here. Now, if you guys do remember, I've done two Godzilla, probably just one Godzilla Ultima video where I actually scaled him to multiversal. Because again, I have simply not found the archetype information. Now again, if it's based on our own science, I should be able to find it. But people have been saying like it says it in the novels. And again, me reading some of the translations. Excuse me. Also, by the way, let me know if the translations are in this video, because I've been having some like weird glitches with it, so I really don't know. But without further ado, Godzilla Ultima should scale to multiversal and possibly with its true form, complex multiversal, if not low complex multiversal. This is important because when he destroys a universe, he destroys everything about it. He destroys the past, present, and future, as well as alternate timelines for those universes, which is not sure how it is, but the director stated it, so we'll take it as it is, right? Now, Godzilla Ultima in the novelization has also been confirmed to be able to destroy multiple universes. As a matter of fact, he already has destroyed multiple universes the same way, with all the universes being infinite in size and stuff, with apparently like an infinite number. So it is like infinite number of universes that Godzilla Ultima has destroyed. And here's the funny thing, right? Most of these kaiju in Singular Point also have their own universes. So a monster like Manda, who Godzilla was not only able to take attacks from, but was able to straight up kill. Yeah, they're also able to create or pretty much already have their own universes. So it's actually pretty interesting. I mean, I definitely have to say he definitely is one of the more interesting Godzilla when it comes to it, because he has a lot more stuff you just gotta really look at and analyze, to be honest here. Now, Godzilla does bend the archetype, and for the sake of this video, let's say the archetype is around those 13D levels. Again, haven't found it, but if majority of people are saying it's 13D, let's just for today go with that general opinion. I think it makes it more fun, and it should make it fair. Now, with that being said here, all right, hear me out. With that being said here, if all of these kaiju are around those same levels, and Godzilla Ultima in its true form should be a hyperversal threat, all right? Considering he's already above, like, 12th dimensional, which is where the hyperversal scaling starts and stuff like that. I've said this plenty of times with characters from the Heisei-verse, like Heisei Godzilla, Space Godzilla, Super Godzilla, and so on and so forth. And these guys should be pretty simple here. Now, as for his abilities, he has this time curve wave, which is not atomic energy. This is actually Godzilla bending time itself and blasting it at his opponents. All right, this has been able to scar Jet Jaguar, and the way Jet Jaguar even had to combat him was actually transcending time and space and actually reworking the archetype to blow up on him. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Oh, and by the way, I just found out this pretty much today here. Cutting him's not a good idea. Yeah, anything that deals with his blood, he can actually use it to grab you, create spikes and chains. So giving him like an open wound just unlocks new abilities. Like it hurts. Oh, don't get me wrong. But again, he's able to bloodbend himself in order to use weapons. Yeah, no, crazy. Now again, I think that should wrap it up for Godzilla Ultima here. I probably am missing something, but again, I think that should also indicate that he has a pretty great healing factor, being able to heal from open wounds and stuff here, being able to fight against these monsters that have their own universes apparently. And again, he should be one of the stronger Godzillas out there. Not beating Godzilla in hell, but hey, I said what I said. Now, with that being said here, and hold on a minute, let me make sure I got all this together. We actually should be at the Ben 10 section now. So yeah, let's actually talk about Benjamin Tennyson. Now, if you guys, before we really get to that, if you guys want to see a 5 years later Ben 10 video, well, opposite of scaling, like, if you want him for the superhero wave, let me know down below, and I will add him to wave 8 of the superhero continuity. So without further ado, let's actually begin with Ben 10. Now, everyone knows Ben Tennyson. Kid sees a giant alien watch fall down from the sky and reaches for it. I mean, who wouldn't? Let's be honest here. And then gets the power to turn into multiple aliens. Started off as 10. Got to just about... How many aliens does he have right now? Dear Lord, he's got a lot. And then he would later go on to wear out Beto's Ultimatrix, by the way. And this comes with an evolutionary function, which actually throws aliens into a war zone for, I think it was like 100 or thousands of years, and they have a chance to evolve. Which actually speaks volumes about Ben's aliens' latent potential, if you think about it, with all these ultimates here. Now, the ultimates themselves actually scale to each other pretty well here. They're all able to take attacks from Ben respectively, and even those who should be less durable than the others, like Ultimate Spider Monkey, in all honesty are just as durable, or at least close to the same levels as Ultimate Swamp Fire, Humongosaur, and obviously Cannonbolt, who should be the most durable of the group because of his shell. By the way, what's his shell made out of? I know it's able to like contain energy, or I think his name was Rad or something very similar to that or something like that. The energy DNA donor. Let me know who that guy was down below here. Oh, Pandor, excuse me. So he was able to contain Pandor, who was made of living radiation. And energy, believe it or not, you can actually get into the star to solar system levels, which is actually consistent for a lot of Ben's mid-tier aliens, like Chroma Stone, who's actually been confirmed by the director to be able to absorb large stars, which again, you can easily put to large star level to solar system level if you really want to get it there. But considering the sheer fact that Chroma Stone also has like a universal feat where he's actually able to hurt the Dagon, the same Dagon who's confirmed to be an extra dimensional entity and has created his own universe. Now, keep in mind, all the universes in Ben 10's cosmology are known to be infinite in size and separated between a void here. Now, this is pretty important here, considering the sheer fact that Waybig was able to actually damage Dagon when he went ultimate, and was actually able to like grab him and ironically suplex and overpower him in a physical confrontation. But again, Dagon won when it came down to the hacks and abilities. So, yeah, they're harming an extra dimensional or an interdimensional entity, which I think would actually put them around the 4 to 5D department. I think. All right. But again, that is still universal. If not, if you want to get it there, considering the sheer fact that there are many beings that were universal in Ben 10. But again, the consistent ends for some of these lower tier aliens are in the solar system to with their highest, or at least with the ultimate's highest, they should be universal as they all scale relative to each other. With probably a few exceptions, with some being more durable and obviously some being stronger than the others, right? So, with that being said here, they have a plethora of powers and abilities here. Ultimate Echo Echo, believe it or not, depending on which director you really go for, still has his cloning. Big Chill still has his intangibility and pretty much doesn't really have too many trade backs on him. Ultimate Humongosaur actually loses his size growing and comes equipped with missiles. I mean, that's not a bad trade-off. I mean, you kind of need your shell anyway, so it is what it is here. Cannonbolt is just Cannonbolt with some type of alloy on him. And then there's Ultimate Wild Mutt. Yeah, we don't speak about that when I do it. Now again, he still has some consistency with the other aliens here. There's also Clockwork, who's able to stop and even reverse the energy of the Chronosapien time bomb. The same Chronosapien time bomb which actually beat an Alien X in Atomics Fusion, which, believe it or not, is pretty nerfed. But again, a nerfed omnipotent being is still omnipotent. Yeah, so it is what it is here. Now, there's also Alien X, who pretty much can rewrite the laws of time and space itself, which you can easily get that to high hyperversal to outerversal quite casually, because again, Ben can do just about whatever he wants when it comes to it. Reverse time, stop time, travel through time. Again, he pretty much has it all there. And he also exists beyond interdimensional planes like Anerphatos and even Ledger Domain, which is an area made out of, well, pure magic. It's an entire universe just filled with magic entirely. And keep in mind, all of these universes are infinite in size, or at least the connection point here to lead to the other universe is still infinite in size. So without further ado, I think that pretty much covers it. Ben can easily reach hyperversal to outerversal, believe it or not, or high hyperversal. Depending, again, how you really want to scale it. I do think Ben is pretty consistent in those departments. You could definitely make the arguments and stuff there. And then you have Godzilla Ultima, who at his highest, you could easily get to hyperversal, or at least to the 13D hyperversal, which is like just 1 degree above the baseline hyperversal stat, which is 12D. So, yeah, I think we're pretty good here. I think we could actually begin the breakdown, right? So when it actually comes down to it, I don't really think Ben has too many options to compete with Godzilla Ultima. Like, I'm being very serious. There's only like, maybe you can make the argument for one, but Ultimate Echo Echo and Ultimate Big Chill are some strong arguments here. With, maybe Ultimate Echo Echo can disrupt Godzilla enough for maybe him to implode. But again, this would likely work on any other Godzilla that's based on nuclear energy rather than Godzilla Ultima. As again, Echo Echo would pretty much just have to find the right frequency to affect Godzilla Ultima. Plus, he's a higher dimensional being, at least in the sense of Godzilla in the Godzillaverse, right? But again, I don't think that would work. Big Chill's best bet is to freeze him from the inside out, which might be able to work if you can argue Big Chill freezing like the archetype itself here. But I don't know. I really just don't see it working. At least not too much. I do think if he does do it and, Ben goes inside, freezes him, it would probably work. Like, I'm like 80% certain that Big Chill could pull it off. But then again, it's just that extra, 20% that you also have to consider. Clockwork may not be effective considering the sheer fact that Godzilla can use time to attack his opponents. So it's very possible that Clockwork is the worst one here. So that kind of just leaves Ben with the obvious and only answer, Alien X. And believe it or not, yeah, Ben's taking that. Yeah. You see, if Godzilla Ultima invaded the Ben 10 verse and just went for like prime Ben's timeline, just started just destroying Bellwood, it's very possible Ben might have to consider going Alien X. But I definitely see some of the aliens him using are like Ultimate Way Big, Ultimate Echo Echo, Ultimate Big Chill. And maybe, if he does the master control on the Ultimatrix, I think it should have that function since it's just an upgraded version of Albedo's Omnitrix, which was based off the original. Again, the only problem I have with that is that Ben as Alien X, or at least Celestial Sapiens, exist on a much higher cosmological point than Godzilla's singular point does. And again, not saying Godzilla's singular point ain't powerful. Not saying he can't beat certain characters in fiction. But again, if he invaded, and he is one of those few kaiju I definitely like to use for like invasion scenarios, because he kind of just like goes around from universe to universe just destroying everything. Like first he gives you the avatar stage, and then next thing you know, you're fighting his true form, right? But overall here, I'm not I'm not really convinced that Godzilla Ultima will be able to pull this off here against Alien X here. I think Alien X just has way too many hexes, way too many abilities here that kind of just give him the edge overall when it comes to dealing with, this kind of threat here. I mean, he can also make like a million versions of himself and just have them, also attack Godzilla Ultima. And then there's just, the other amount of hacks is he can literally just probably reverse the time curve wave or just send it to the point where it just never happened in the first place. Like just manipulate time on a much higher level and just go to the point where Ultima never used his time curve wave, or his time breath, I should say. So overall, I definitely have to say Ben 10 can definitely stop Godzilla Ultima. As for Godzilla's, he may not be able to stop. I definitely think Godzilla in Hell is definitely too much. IDW Godzilla actually would be a pretty good fight, especially with the morphing grid and Power Ranger scaling and stuff there. So that actually would make it a very difficult fight for him. But in all honesty, most Godzilla's Ben 10 can beat, and most versions of Godzilla, well, can beat Ben 10. Just not this one. I think Ben 10 definitely gets the job done with, I would probably say the fight starts out in a mid-difficulty manner, because Godzilla Ultima is definitely whooping out a large majority of those aliens. But once Alien X comes out and Ben just stops, like giving a darn, yeah, it's wraps. It's pretty much over from that point. But anyway, that's going to be all for today. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you have a blessed day.